This video is brought to you by Soundcore. The Soundcore Liberty 4 NC have arrived, and they are making it tough to justify spending big bucks for earbuds from Apple, Sony, or Samsung. These earbuds come with personalized sound, adaptive ANC 2.0, and the convenience of multi-point connectivity. All this premium audio goodness for just 99 bucks. So, let's get into it. First up, let's start with pairing and that Bluetooth connection. So these are featuring Bluetooth 5.3 with SBC, AAC, and LDAC for their connection codecs. So that makes them fully compatible with both iOS and Android devices. Now for compatibility, I tested the Liberty 4 NC on my iPhone 14 Pro Max, the Pixel 7 Pro, and my OnePlus Nord N30 with no issues in pairing or connection quality. They also feature Google Fast Pair for Android, which makes pairing them quick and easy. In addition to all that, they also feature multi-point connectivity for up to 2 devices. However, using multi-point requires going back to AAC or SBC codecs. Not a huge deal, but I wanted to make sure that I mentioned it here. Additionally, the Liberty 4 NC also features single usage mode, and that's basically where you can use one earbud at a time while the other one is charging in its case. And you also maintain the ability to use both active noise cancellation and transparency mode with only one earbud in use. I personally like to have transparency mode on when I'm using them individually. This way I can still maintain full situational awareness. When it comes to latency, now the Liberty 4 NC have minimal lag or latency when watching videos on YouTube or any of the streaming apps in my testing. When it comes to mobile gaming, the Liberty 4 NC offer a dedicated gaming mode that reduces latency to improve your gaming experience. However, using gaming mode will increase battery usage, so I recommend only using it when needed and turning it off when you're done playing your game. Now, one of the most important questions that always hits in my comment section is, Jefe, are these earbuds comfortable at all? Are they good for workouts? Well, the Liberty 4 NC, they maintain the same shape and size as the OG Liberty 4. It's a low-profile stem style design that's suitable for many different ear shapes and sizes. Now, I've worn these for 2 to 3 hours at a time, multiple times, and I haven't experienced any ear fatigue or discomfort in my testing. Now, when it comes to earbuds and IEMs, comfort is key. The features and sound quality are meaningless if they aren't comfortable, right? Now that raises an important question. What is the most important feature or design a set of true wireless earbuds needs to have for you? Is it comfort, sound quality, multi-point connections, noise cancellation, or some combination of these features? Let me know down in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you think. Now, the other part of this question is, are the Liberty 4 NC going to be good for sports or workouts? Now, grip is good, but it will depend on your ear shape as well as proper tip choice. The included silicone tips are soft and seal pretty well, and you do get 4 sizes in the box ranging from extra small all the way to large. I strongly recommend you try a few sizes until you find the right ones that block out as much noise as possible. Also, feel free to try the ear tip fit test in the Soundcore app to ensure a proper seal. But so far, the Liberty 4 NC have performed admirably on my walks, and I haven't had any slippage or needed any sort of adjustments. Lastly, they also feature an IPX4 rating for sweat and splash resistance, but I wouldn't take them swimming or anything like that. So now let's move over to the controls. So the Liberty 4 NC are featuring responsive touch controls. Probably the most responsive touch controls I've experienced from any Soundcore earbuds. Now they support single, double, and triple tap as well as a long press. And the controls are easy to remember and very, very responsive in my testing. They are also fully customizable in the Soundcore app, including the ability to shut them off completely if that's something that you prefer. Now, speaking of the Soundcore app, the Liberty 4 NC are supported by the Soundcore app, and that app is available for both iOS and Android devices. Now, once you open up the app, you're going to see the battery life for both the earbuds and the charging case. Below this, you have your ambient sound modes, and that's your normal, transparency mode, and noise cancellation. So under transparency mode, you're going to have dual modes. So you have fully transparent and vocal mode, as well as a wind noise reduction toggle, which is a welcome addition. Noise cancellation, you also still have that wind noise reduction toggle, and you have the different ANC modes. You have adaptive noise cancellation with environment detection. You have the manual mode, which gives you an ANC strength slider, so you can adjust it to whatever you prefer. And you have the different transportation presets. Totally up to you. I personally prefer the adaptive noise cancellation with environment detection, but that is just me. Now, below this, we have the sound effects, And that's going to be the different EQs and the different presets for these. There is a toggle for 3D surround sound if you want that effect. For me, it works better on TV shows and movies, not so much on music, but that's something you're gonna have to play around with for yourself. Below this, you do have the Hear ID sound, and this is where it gives you a hearing test to create a custom EQ. You go in here into the advanced settings, you can use just your custom EQ that it made, the personalized one, or you can actually go in and make adjustments to your personalized EQ if you wish, or you can go in and apply your customized EQ to one of the 22 different presets that they offer. So a ton of customizability built in here. You also have the default, which is the 22 different EQ presets, all of which are customizable as well. And then last but not least, you have the custom EQ where you can create your own curve if that's what you want to do. So a ton of different sound options as usual from Soundcore earbuds. Below that, we have the safe volume. Now, safe volume, this is going to measure volume output to help you understand how music might be too loud for your hearing health. Now, there's also a limit high volume toggle right here. And basically, this is going to give you a slider that'll say how loud you want these earbuds to get. It's actually putting a limitation on the volume level. Pretty interesting if you want to protect your own hearing. Totally up to you. Don't have to use it if you don't want to. Now, below that, you do have the controls, and the controls let you customize your control scheme for both the left and right sides individually, giving you a ton of different options here. So you have everything and none right there, which means you can actually turn off that control if you wish. At the top, you do have a little toggle. There's a touch lock if you want to go ahead and lock out all of the touch controls. Completely up to you, but it's a nice feature to have. So now we hit the settings right up here, and this is going to bring us to the other menus that we have here. So here you have a toggle for the autoplay and pause. That's your ear detection. Here we have a gaming mode toggle. There is a sound leak compensation toggle. You have the prompt tones. We have sound mode, and sound mode is basically choosing whether you want LDAC or combined audio and connection quality. Below this, you have dual connections. That's for your multi-point connectivity. Below that, you have your ear tip fit test right there. You have auto power off. You have a find device that'll play sounds for your earbuds in case you ever lose them. You have your update firmware if you need any firmware updates, help and feedback, and a quick start guide. Now, the Soundcore app is simple and straightforward and provides one of the best companion app experiences on the market in 2023. But to be clear, you don't need the app in order to use these earbuds. The Soundcore app simply lets you maximize the customizability built into these earbuds to give you the best possible experience. So now let's move over to the performance of the Soundcore Liberty 4 NC. And first up, let's start with that battery life. So Soundcore was claiming the Liberty 4 NC can provide anywhere from 10 hours of playback on a single charge, depending on the codecs and the features in use. Obviously, using ANC or LDAC or any combination of both will have a negative impact on battery life, so that's something you're going to want to keep in mind. User experience will vary here. Now, the Liberty 4 NC also feature fast charging, so if you do run the earbuds down all the way, you can drop them into their case for 10 minutes, and that will give you an additional 4 hours worth of playback time. Now, the charging case can provide an additional 4 charges, bringing the total battery life up to 50 hours combined. And then when it comes to charging the case itself, it does charge via USB-C as well as wireless charging, so you have both options on board here. Overall, pretty solid when it comes to battery life, in my personal opinion. So now let's move over to the active noise cancellation, and that's the NC in Liberty 4 NC. Now, the ANC on the Liberty 4 NC is far better than I had anticipated, with a claimed minus 50 dB of noise reduction that reduces noise by 98.5%. The Liberty 4 NC are featuring Soundcore's Adaptive ANC 2.0. Now, most of the adaptive ANC systems on the market just pick a preset sound filter depending on the noise around you to keep things quiet. But check this out. Adaptive ANC 2.0 from Soundcore is a bit smarter than that. Every time you pop in your earbuds, it listens to the noise around you and actually cooks up a brand new sound filter on the spot. Plus, because everyone's ears are a bit different and you're always moving around to new places with different sounds, it automatically adjusts to make sure you get the best noise cancellation wherever you are and no matter your ear shape. It's pretty dope, right? So far, the adaptive mode with environment detection has worked best for me and truly drops ambient noise levels to a minimum. I'm actually kind of surprised at how it works, but it actually gives you a little chime. So let's say if I'm switching from listening to like airline or cabin noise in my testing, and then I make a switch to crowd noise, it'll give me like a double chime, like a bing bing, and then you'll hear it switch the way the ANC works. It adapts to the crowd noise and we keep it moving. So it actually works surprisingly well. So now let's move over to the transparency mode. Now this transparency mode actually works pretty good, and the addition of wind noise reduction is always welcome when walking outdoors on breezy or windy days. Now we do have dual modes here, full transparent that lets in all the noise, or a vocal mode that focuses on just voices while tamping down some of the other external sounds. I personally like to use them in vocal mode with wind noise reduction on, and that way I can hear things around me, but just the things that I want to hear. I don't want to hear all that background noise unnecessarily. And so far so good with these settings in my experience. Now, if you use transparency mode when you're out for your walks or anything like that on a windy day, you know that can be a pain. So having this wind noise reduction actually work and having it available for both noise cancellation and transparency mode, that's a big thumbs up in my opinion. So now let's jump over to the volume and the sound quality. Now, if you're getting any value from this video so far, please be sure to hit that subscribe button for me. It's free for you and it helps the channel greatly. First up, let's start with the volume. Now, in my testing, the Soundcore Liberty 4 NC managed to get 116.4 decibels of peak volume. That's 116.4 decibels. So overall, quite loud. Now, comfortable listening for me comes in around 60 to about 75% personally, but these are going to be more than loud enough for 95% of people out there. Now, let's get into the sound quality. So the Liberty 4 NC are using custom 11mm LCP dynamic drivers to deliver their sound. Combine that with support for LDAC high-res audio on Android, and you end up with a strong combination for great sound quality. I strongly recommend using Soundcore's Hear ID system to get a personalized EQ that fits your ears. My personalized EQ brought out the best in the music that I listen to, and you can also adjust the Hear ID EQ to suit your own personal needs. So if it's like a little too much treble, you can dial it back. If it doesn't have enough bass for you, you can turn that up. Totally up to you. So let's go ahead and break it down. So first up, let's start with that bass. So the Liberty 4 NC are definitely bass head certified. Shout out to my bass head crew. The 11mm drivers can bring that thump and deliver serious sub-bass extension. Truly impressive, but not surprising coming from Soundcore. All of that without getting muddy or bloated in the mid-range. Now for me, listening to Mask Off by Future can highlight that sub-bass extension if you want to give it a listen. I can feel this song in my neck and it's outstanding. Now let's move over to the mid-range. So we have a smooth mid-range that keeps vocals present without being in your face. Both male and female vocals have depth and presence. Listening to Crystal Blue Persuasion by Tommy James and the Shondells truly showcases the Liberty 4 NC's ability to highlight vocals without succumbing to distortions. So now let's move over to the treble. Now treble is crisp and detailed, but it's not harsh. It can be adjusted to suit your own personal taste, and they respond very well to EQ adjustments. Soundstage is decent enough here and still good for a set of true wireless earbuds. Not the best I've ever heard, but still not bad. There is good stereo separation and there's some pretty decent detail retrieval as well. Now listening to I Like It by DeBarge is a must with the Liberty 4 NC. Some of my old school cats, you guys know what I'm talking about. You can easily pick out the different instruments around you and they never get lost in the mix behind Randy or Elle's vocals. So now let's get into some earbud rankings. And for this ranking, I'm going to be comparing the Liberty 4 NC against some of the best options under $100 from their competitors. So we're going to have them up against the Earfun Air Pro 3, the Soundpeats Mini Pro HS, the One More Aero, and the Edifier W240TN. I know you want to know how they compare versus Space A40 and Liberty 4. Trust me, I know. That comparison deserves its own video, and I'll leave a link to that video in the video description and in the pinned comment as soon as it's ready to go. So first, let's start with the transparency ranking. So in first place, we've got Earfun. Second place, we've got Soundcore. Third place, we've got One More. Fourth place, we've got Edifier, and in fifth place, we've got Soundpeats. Now, this was a close battle between Soundcore and Earfun, but the Air Pro 3 from Earfun came out on top by having better clarity in their transparency mode. All of these do a good job, but a win is a win, and Earfun definitely came out on top. So let's move over to noise cancellation. And for noise cancellation, in first place, we've got Soundcore. Second place, we've got Earfun. Third place, we've got One More. Fourth place, we got Edifier, and fifth place, we've got Soundpeats. Now, Soundcore was a clear winner in this battle. Their adaptive ANC 2.0 put them over the others in my test, using 75 decibels of crowd noise and 85 decibels of jet cabin noise. Earfun was the biggest surprise for me in this lineup, so kudos to them for performing well, but Soundcore still took the win here. Now let's move over to the sound volume. In first place, we've got Soundpeats at 121.7 dB. Second place, you got Earfun at 118.2 dB. Third place, you got Soundcore at 116.4 dB. Fourth place, you got one more at 115.6 dB. And fifth place, you got Edifier at 113.8 dB. Now, these numbers don't lie. The Soundpeats are absurdly loud, and no one should be using them at maximum volume. But to be clear, all of these are more than loud enough for most, but again, a win is a win. So now let's rank sound quality. In first place, we've got Soundcore. Second place, we've got Edifier. Third place, you got Soundpeats. Fourth place, you've got Earfun. And fifth place, we've got one more. Now, this was a surprise for me. I truly thought the Edifier or the Earfun would have taken the prize here. But the combination of Soundcore's Hear ID personalization, LDAC codec, and good source music truly helped them stand apart for me personally. I tend to prefer a more dynamic sound with elevated bass and a warm mid-range. The Liberty 4NC, they truly delivered in spades. So now let's get into some microphone samples for those people who like to take phone calls with their earbuds. All right, so here we have the microphone quality sample for the Soundcore Liberty 4NC. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, once again, I'm indoors in a semi-quiet room. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, and here we have the microphone sample for the Earfun Air Pro 3. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, once again, I'm indoors in a semi-quiet room. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, and here we have the microphone sample for the Soundpeats Mini Pro HS. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, once again, I'm indoors in a semi-quiet room. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the microphone sample for the Edifier W240TN. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, once again, I'm indoors in a semi-quiet room. So testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, so here we have the microphone sample for the One More Aero. So testing, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, once again, I'm indoors in a semi-quiet room. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Soundcore Liberty 4NC in a simulated crowd noise environment. So something like a busy bar, a crowded restaurant, or something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Earfun Air Pro 3 in a simulated crowd noise environment. So something like a busy bar, a crowded restaurant, or something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Soundpeats Mini Pro HS in a simulated crowd noise environment. So something like a busy bar, a crowded restaurant, or something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the Edifier W240TN in a simulated crowd noise environment. So something like a busy bar, a crowded train station, or something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. And here we have the One More Aero in a simulated crowd noise environment. So something like a busy bar, a crowded restaurant, or something along those lines. So testing, 1, 2, 3. Now, with all of that out of the way, and for full disclosure, this video was sponsored by Soundcore, same as I said at the beginning of this video. Despite this, they received no rights for copy or script approval and were not allowed to see this video prior to it being published. They will be watching this video at the same time that you are. I'm telling you all of this because I believe in transparency and honesty with you as the viewer. As always, please be sure to watch multiple reviews before you make your final purchase decision. If you are interested in seeing how the Liberty 4NC stack up against the rest of Soundcore's lineup, check out the video I'm going to leave for you right up here on the screen. With that said, my name is Jefe, and I'm out.